Here are solutions to homework set number 14 for ECE 111. This homework set looks at using Matlab to solve differential equations and filters. Now, a filter is a circuit or a system where the gain changes with frequency, which means pretty much anything described by a differential equation. Typically, a filter is described as such. The output is some gain times the input, where the gain is a function of variable, in this case s. Now, the assumption is that everything is in the form of e to the st. When you take circuits, you'll learn about Laplace transforms. This is the assumption behind Laplace transform. The reason you do that is when I take the derivative of e to the st, I get s e to the st, something that you'll cover when you take calculus. So what I get is s is an operator, s means derivative. So this transfer function represents a differential equation. To see what that is, just multiply out the polynomial, cross multiply, and then note that s means derivative, so s cubed is the third derivative of y, s squared is the second derivative, first derivative, y, the derivative of x and x. So this is the differential equation that corresponds to that transfer function. Now, the reason we do that is it makes circuit analysis or filter analysis with sine wave inputs really easy. If you don't mind complex numbers, it's just algebra. So suppose my input x is a constant 3. Well, everything's in the form of e to the st. For a constant s equals 0, e to the 0 is 1. So in this case, at DC, s equals 0, my input is 3. The phasor representation for the number 3 is 3. Surprise, surprise. This is the filter. That's the gain everywhere. All I care about in this problem is what's the gain at s equals 0 times the input, and do some algebra, I get my answer. And Matlab, I can do that and just say s equals 0, x is 3, and y is pretty much the way you write it. 50 s plus 4 over s plus 5, s plus 6, s plus 7 times x. There's your answer. Okay, that's at DC. Suppose instead x is a sine wave. Well, this is where phasors come in. For phasors, s is j omega, so s is j2. X is 0 minus j3. In phasors, the real part is cosine, minus j is sine. Again, here's my filter. That's the gain everywhere. All I care about is what's the gain at s equals j2 times the input, gives you a complex number. What that means is real part's cosine, minus j is sine, so poof, there's your answer. This is why we like phasors in electrical computer engineering. Filter analysis with sine wave inputs is really easy if you don't mind complex numbers. Versus what you do in calculus. Calculus, you can do a different approach that takes about 40 minutes. This is like a 10-second solution. And Matlab is really good at it. In this case, s equals j2. X is 0 minus j3. Here's the gain, same as we did before, but now s is a complex number, x is a complex number. Matlab works just fine with complex numbers. And poof, there's your answer. And what that means is, again, real part's cosine minus j is sine. So Matlab is really good at complex numbers, really good at this type of problem. So that's one type of analysis with filters. If I have a filter where the input is a sine wave, I can just do algebra. Plug in s equals j omega, output is gain times input, and you got it. A second type of problem for analysis is suppose I don't know exactly what x is, but I know the range. Suppose this x is some sine wave between 0 and 30 radians per second. How does this filter behave? Well, Matlab is really good at that too. I'm just going to sweep. I'm going to let frequency go between 0 and 30 radians per second, steps of 0.01. So this gives me 3,000 points in omega. S is j times omega, complex number. G of s is pretty much how you write it. It's 50 s plus 4 over s plus 5, s plus 6, s plus 7. I've got to use the dot notation because this is a 3000 by 1 array. Matlab will try to do a matrix operation. I don't want it to do that. I want to treat this as 3000 separate numbers. That's what the dot notation tells it. Do each calculation separately. Do that, I wind up with 3000 complex numbers. In polar form, the magnitude is the gain. So if I plot frequency versus the magnitude of g, I get this graph. What that tells me is this is what G of S behaves like. G of S is a low-pass filter. For frequencies less than 5-ish, it passes these frequencies. It rejects frequencies above 20, and it's not a very good low-pass filter. It sort of passes those frequencies, sort of rejects them. That's how it behaves. You can do better. When you take electronics, you look at how to design better filters. Problem 3. Suppose I have complex zeros and complex poles. Now what's the gain versus frequency? Again, Matlab doesn't really care. They just have frequency go between 0 and 30 radians per second. S is G omega. G of S, again, is pretty much how you write it. This will do 3,000 calculations, find 3,000 gains at each frequency. But plot frequency versus the magnitude of gain. This is what it looks like. What that tells you is this is a bandpass filter. Frequencies around 7 radians per second get passed. Actually, they get amplified. And the other frequencies get attenuated. Okay, that's filter analysis. The last set of problems is design. Suppose this is my target. Come up with a filter that has this gain versus frequency. And assume I have no zeros and 6 poles. Where do those poles belong? Find A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Well, this is actually a much harder problem. When you take electronics and circuits too, you'll look at designing these filters. Well, the power of Matlab is, one of the powers of Matlab, if I know nothing about filter design, I can do a pretty good job designing filters using Matlab. And the trick is to use a function called fmsearch. What fmsearch does is it finds the minimum of a function. So I want to come up with a function where it tries to find the A, B, C, D, E, F, G to minimize something. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to guess A, B, C, D, E, F, G. When I do that, it's going to come up with some function, G of S. Now let's take the difference in the two, square it, integrate it, return the sum squared error. When I make this difference as small as possible, I'll call that the best value of A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So the first step is to come up with a function that does that. I'm going to call that cost f. I'm going to pass a single vector. fmsearch wants a single vector. I'm going to parse it. What z means is that's my A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Here's the frequencies I'm going to design at. The ideal gain versus frequency is 1 for frequencies less than 2, and then this line. So between 0 and 2, it's this guy right here, 1. Between 2 and 6 is this function, and then 0 elsewhere. The reason I perturb this just a little is I don't want to worry about less than or equal. At 2, I don't want this to be 0. And you can kind of go cross-eyed trying to figure out where the less than or equals go to, or just perturb omega just a little bit. Then you're never equals. You don't have to worry about it. So that's what I want the filter to be. This is what the filter really is. Take the difference in the two, return the sum squared error, find A, B, C, D, F, G to minimize the sum squared difference. Okay, so here's how that works. There's my function. If I try to run it, Matlab is going to complain bitterly, you cannot run functions. I can call them, however. So let me find Matlab. So there's my error. You can't run a function. So let's call it. So A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So if that's my guess, let's see if my function works. And it didn't quite work. Got a slight error in it. Okay, fix the error. And this is my desired response in blue, actual response in green, and here's the sum square difference. So it says that's not a very good filter. Can I do better? So let's increase A, better. Increase A some more, better. So it's guess, guess again, guess again. That is problem number 4. Come up with a function. Problem 5 says, how good is this filter? Well, to do that, I just plug in those numbers. Let's bring it down so you can see it. So in this case, that's my A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So in the case, A is 1,000, 25, to 17 to 37. There's my filter. That's a 75 filter. Can I do better? Well, this is where fmsearch comes into play. I can guess again, or let fmsearch guess for me. So z, comma, e is fmsearch. I want to minimize this function and give it an initial guess. So there's my initial guess. What Matlab is doing, it's guessing A, B, C, D, E, F, G, iterating. It's basically taking those three poles, moving them around, trying to make the filter look like my desired response. And fmsearch does a really good job at it. Let it run for a little bit, and eventually it'll kick out. See, it's still iterating, moving around a little bit. Sometimes it kicks out due to max iterations, and you can see that here. It kicked out because after so many iterations, it says, enough, I give up. If I tell it to keep going from where you left off, it will see, can I do better? Currently the cost is 1.72. Can I make it smaller? So it's trying. And eventually it'll kick out. What I got was a cost of 1.82. Actually, I got 1.72 last time I tried it. 1.61. That's the best I could do. So that Z, that's my A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So this is the best I can do. At least that's the best that Matlab fmsearch found. This is the resulting gain versus frequency. If I can find it. There it is. Pretty good. Not perfect, but with only six poles to play with, that's the best Matlab could do. The significance of that is if you know nothing about filter design, Matlab can do a really good job at it. When you get to Circuits 2 and Electronics, you'll look at designing filters by hand. But without having those classes, I can do a pretty good job with Matlab. Matlab is a really powerful language. And that is homework set number 14 for ECE 111.